Hey guys, thanks for watching. Just wanted to give you a quick another example of unwrapping an object, a model, and I'm going to use a student's model because it's a good example of something that has some very good pieces to work with, and again it's another example of something that has a couple of good, interesting, intricate pieces that you would normally say, okay, what do I do with this? How do I unwrap it? Because there's some curves, some you know, some interior spaces like right here with this section here, and so as a matter of fact, I think this one, I think the faces. Let me check to see if the faces are correct. It should be. I think the way you created this one should be good to go. Uh, as a matter of fact, oh, I see what the issue is. Okay, so first things first on this particular object. You've got a void here. There's a void, right? So we're looking at an object that doesn't have an interior, if you will, because this section here, this piece of the object needs to be solid, have faces in and out. So what we need to do is to reproduce this object with an interior section here, because once I selected this face, I'm really selecting this outside face. There aren't any inside interior faces here. So this is not a solid or sealed piece. Now, we can repair this and get a good result, and I'll show you what we can do to repair this. First, we'll have to detach this. So let's. I'm going to go to Element because I know that it has been attached. I can tell by the way he set this up. So see, when I select Element, it shows me the piece that actually has been attached. So what I'm going to do is detach it, and we're just going to call it the lamp head and say OK. So now if I deselect my element, and then I'm going to select this top piece here, and now it is on its own. Now what I'm going to do basically is just seal this face back up and extrude it inward, okay? And then we'll attach it back to the stem, and we're also going to get rid of this, the way the stem is protruding into the cone. So first, W key to move this piece away, and then I am going to create a face right here and seal this up. So with my polygon selected, I'm going to, and I'm just clicking out in the world to deselect. And then what I'm going to do is do a create, and I'm going to go along these inside verts here. So as you can see how the cursor looks right here, once I go over a vert, the cursor changes to allow me to select a vert. Now I'm going to go around each vert in this circle until I end up at the beginning again here, selecting each vert. Once I get to the end, it will seal itself. Boom. Now that I'm done with that, I will deselect create, and now what I'm going to do is just extrude this inward. Sorry, let's scroll back up. I'm going to select extrude settings, and as you can see, I guess I was doing something else that had a 10 extrude on the positive, but what I'm going to do, of course, is go backwards on this, and actually I'm going to eyeball it let's see. Actually, let's make it, we're going to do an Alt X so that I can see how far back I'm going to go with this extrude. And I'm going to go backwards, 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 backwards. Actually, it's going out, and that's fine, because what I'm going to do is I will shrink this down. Right, I will shrink this down. I'm going to go back a little further, like so. I'm going to hit the checkbox there, and then of course I'm going to hit R to scale. I am going to select, grab all three axes, and shrink this down. Now let's take a look. I'm gonna, excuse me, I'm having the performance for some reason is moving a little slow here, but as you can see, I have shrunk it down. I have shrunk it down to a reasonable size that fits right within the back portion of the lamp. I eyeballed it because it's not really necessary to be mathematically accurate on this. So I think I'm good to go. Go back to W, and I actually am going to deselect, hit Alt X, and so as you can see, we've got it. It's now solid. Now, if you want to add the bulb in here, you could easily take this and bevel it and make a little piece to represent where the bulb will sit. Honestly, I would just, if I wanted to create a bulb-like situation here, I would make it one solid piece. So I would just bevel, and I wouldn't give it any height. So no height on this. I'll do 0. And then as you can see, I did -1 here so far. Let me try, let me try -3. Yeah. And then what I'll do is extrude. Oops. We don't want to go that far. Actually, I think I messed that up. Let's go back. And my bevel should be, and then I should have hit check mark, sorry, checkbox, to confirm that that's what I wanted to do, right? So now I can also, and actually, if I wanted to be a little more accurate about it, I could do another bevel, and I would do something like minus 0.5, something like that, right? And so then I would check it, say yes, and then what I would do is just grab this here. But actually, I said we did say we are going to do one solid piece, so sorry, let me do that. And then what I would do is extrude out. Actually, yeah, you know what, for the sake of, yeah, let's make it one solid piece, because I want you to understand that yeah, you can take two separate pieces and put the bulb in and what have you, if that's part of the gameplay, right? Because this object ultimately is going to be exported and imported into a game engine. So what I would do at this point is just give a stem here, and then actually I could take another shape and attach it. So let's do something like that. So let's say we'll go ahead and let's make it an even, oops, let's make it an even 6, just because I like even numbers there. So if I made a bulb, I would union it to this section here. But for now, let's just go with what this piece is, and then we're going to attach it back to the base. So so now what I'll do is get out of my, let's expand. There's different ways you can deselect polygon, of course. I'm going to deselect it from the pull down list here. but you could also scroll up and deselect it from the selection as well, or hit the number 4. Anyway, so now that I have that done, I'm going to union this to this stem. That way it'll be right in between this little pocket here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We will actually sit it right in between. I'm just going to eyeball this just for the sake of the example. We're going to put it right in between that space that's inside and outside, right? So now I'm going to go over to my first tab, pull down the menu to Compound Objects. I'm going to select my object, do a Boolean. I'm going to do a union. It's already selected down here on the right. I'm going to add, select the operands button and select the second operand, which is this base. And now we've got a solid piece here now. Okay, so now we can go back to our Modify tab. We can take the Boolean, select the Editable Poly, and now because we did the entire, sorry, 3ds Max is moving slow here. Because we unioned a transparent object, it took on the characteristics, right? So I'm doing Alt X here to show you. Now that this solid piece is done, let me come back and I'm going to do a separate video to unwrap it. I just wanted to give you a heads up on correcting this piece here. Thanks for watching.